What is going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got a tour of the entire completed industrial office loft. So this right here is actually a residential condo, but because it's in the right zoning, this is actually going to be the office that I work out of every single day and where we're going to film all of our videos for the foreseeable future. And for those who've been following the channel, this has been a series that's been worked on for the past year. I'm sure you guys have seen the progression of the makeover from the way it looked like when I first got possession of it last year to what it looks like right now in its final state, where everything is set up exactly the way we planned, and I don't think anything is really going to change anytime soon. So today we're gonna go through the final kitchen, the living room, the decor, as well as construction pieces, furniture choices, and just everything about the entire space, as well as showing you the den that was just completed and was kind of like the last step of the process. So just a bit of a backstory, I purchased this property around the halfway point of last year, and my agent actually sent this to me like 3 times, and when I first saw it, I was like, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, and I don't want to spend the money to renovate it, but the price kept dropping. I think it dropped about 70,000, the price that I got it at. It came out to under 600,000, and with all the renovation plans, it definitely needed a lot of work. I would almost say 99% of the stuff was taken out and almost nothing was kept. And for those who are wondering, in terms of renovation costs, if we were to convert it into American dollars, it was probably around the 80K range, but in Canadian, it was probably about 120 if that converts properly. So yeah, this is one that I'm personally using, so I definitely went with more premium line of materials and try to do things right. But if it was just like a quick flip or something I was just going to rent out, obviously could have done it for much cheaper. But I think at the end of the day, based on the assessed price and obviously the use of it for the YouTube series and the partners that we work with in the home industry, it was definitely worth it. And it's a great space to both work and also hang out on weekends, watch some sports. So as always, if you guys like these videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and also leave a comment down below with your favorite part. And follow me over on Instagram at justin.tse because I post all the behind the scenes, the progressions, as well as letting you guys vote on the design decisions of the next makeover series that we are actually working on right now. There's definitely a lot of products that we're covering in this video, so as always, everything is going to be linked down below. All the details of like the countertops we use, the hardware, the furniture, the decor pieces, and everything. I always love watching like videos like this where there's great decor inspiration, because obviously some of my past videos didn't really have much decor, but I started to find some things here and there that I think work very well. So yeah, everything is going to be linked down below. Perhaps one of the most common questions that I get is, how does a mid-sized YouTube channel afford multiple pieces of property, do these renovations, and also employ full-time members? Although I'm just 24, I've been doing YouTube videos for over a decade and have learned a ton of things along the way and made many mistakes as well. So I'm going to be launching an online course this summer which showcases what I believe is our biggest strength, which is the business side of YouTube. Whether it is content strategy, maximizing your income streams, or negotiating with brands, I'm going to be sharing real-world case studies as well. So go ahead and check out Creator Cashflow and sign up for the email list today, because you'll be getting a notification when the free preview is available. So we're going to start with the kitchen and then move on to the lounge area and the TV space of this loft. And so the kitchen is one that is a large spot in any style place like this. So before there was like all these racks for pots and pans, I'm sure you guys saw that in the series, but one thing that I really wanted to do is just a large countertop. I like how it's fully open. There's no sink in the middle anymore. So you could at least like work here if you wanted to, and obviously eat. Also went with a waterfall countertop, and for those who might be wondering, the color is called charcoal soapstone from Silestone, the Costantino group, and it is a quartz countertop in a 3cm slab. And for the backsplash, I went with a white color, also from Silestone, so all the links are going to be down below for all the stuff that I went with. The kitchen overall doesn't have too much decor. I opted to keep it relatively minimal and also have a lot of open space to make it feel larger. But from a decor standpoint, I also went relatively minimal, and one of the things that I found on Uncrate was this coffee machine. I still have to figure out how to use it. I don't know like how good of a coffee machine it is for the price, because it is quite expensive, but it is one of those pieces where from a decor standpoint, it just seemed to fit in very nicely. On this side, we have a panel dishwasher, so it all blends in very nicely. That is one of the design touches that I always like to do in renovations. I think it does make it look much more customized. The other touch is also a drawer microwave. So press the button, put your food in there, and close it up. and you're good to go. And usually I would say this is a little bit overpriced and not needed, especially in a condo reno like this, but I got it on Facebook Marketplace for a good price, so decided to go with it. Just have some food and whatever. This one right here is a taller one, but it is not very wide, which I think for this space, once again, it is the perfect size because you want to use up the space going this way, but you want to keep this area and your general work area as wide as possible. So let's head over to a spot that I'm personally most excited about because there's a few things that I like to do. I like to watch TV, play video games, and otherwise I'm pretty much working the rest of the time. So obviously having a big living room in the office just makes a lot of sense. And whenever we want to take up the space to film videos or shift the set around, we can totally do that. We have like some furniture sliding equipment, but yeah, there's a TV on this side and it is on a ROVE Concepts walnut stand. And this right here is a 77-inch TV from the Sony Master Series. So it's an OLED, it does have great speakers built in, it looks really good overall. And one other touch that you may have seen me talk about in the living room video is that I've also got a Philips Hue Play sync box that actually syncs with what's on the screen and has lights around it to just give it a nice transitioning accent. So far it's worked very well. For video games, it's been great. Of course, we've got to have a PS5 right here that just sits very seamlessly. I honestly really like the design of it. I know some people said it was pretty ugly, but I actually think the digital one just looks really good here. And all this kind of takes up this entire 83-inch media cabinet. One of the other things that I considered was to do a projector setup. So it would have been a 120-inch projector, but looking at it now, 120 inches would have pretty much gone right to the light and may have been a little bit too big. In terms of some of the other things that I chose for this living room, I went with the same rug that I have in the house from West Elm. It is called the Vapor, and it almost looks like a carpet version of concrete. I know it's a little bit boring, and it does shed a lot, but I think it looks pretty good. It's a nice transition, so it doesn't like pop out, but I feel like some people would have wanted to go with a full contrasting or color rug in a space that is otherwise very monochrome. This table right here is also from ROVE Concepts. It has a marble finish and we have the Buster and Punch display. There's also some hockey pucks that have a bottle opener in there, which is kind of cool. They were on sale for like $4, so that's nice. And just a couple books here and there. We do film a lot of the videos on this table because the open loft makes it easy to light and you can just have a tripod overhead and do your demonstrations there. In the living room in my own house, it's actually too narrow to have any accent chairs, but I really like the fact that we have like these side chairs here. This is the Pavilion from ROVE Concepts, comes in many different colors. And this Bang & Olufsen speaker was originally intended to be a display piece, but it actually sounds so good that it is able to fill this entire loft, and we use it every single day when it is plugged in, but there is a wire sticking out usually. Over here we have the PK31, and this is in a caramel finish. I'm not really sure if I did the best job matching the colors on this one, where you have like the black, the brown, and the gray, but it's still a nice color to have, especially when you look at it this way with the walnut walls in the back. When it came to a couch, this is one that could be much larger. It has like different attachments that you can extend, but I just wanted something that was small because we shuffle things around all the time. And for those who may have listened to the podcast in the past, we're actually going to be bringing it back, and the set is going to be in a lounge concept right here with handheld microphones, which I feel like is just far more natural. So one of the biggest, I'd say, expenses in the entire loft was two things. It was the railings and it was also this piece. And it actually goes all the way up. The ceiling is about 15 feet and it is all real walnut material in 8-foot pieces. So obviously, just in material alone, this was definitely not the most economical option, and I was kind of jumping between doing black sliding or walnut. And I've got to say, I'm really happy with the fact that we went with walnut, because with a large bulkhead like this, you can either just like paint it black or whatever, and actually look pretty good like that. But by having sliding, it just adds a bit of dimension to it. And I think with the white paint and everything, it does go very well together. And it also had a little bit of an improvement when it came to acoustics as well. But there's obviously a lot more that we can do when it comes to sound in this space. Under here was a spot that I was originally planning to put a table, actually, to do like a desk, maybe a setup for the podcast. But after sitting in this set, we really liked the fact that the podcast was just super chill in a lounge area. So for now, I have some displays here. I might even put the Formula One simulator right here before moving it over to my house to not have a whole bunch of clutter in the office. But This is actually a case from Buster and Punch, and it is for whiskey, super high quality in this ebony finish. It also has like a nice marble top to it, and you can just store your drinks down there. I personally don't drink, but there it is. And it has like a nice velvet in the back. They're also very well known for the lighting that we've used around the space. It's all on a timer. On the tech side of things, we also have it hooked up to like the switches. So for my phone and on schedules, it automatically turns on every day. And it's just like a nice practical light in some of the sets. So over here, these are some of my favorite shelves, and I've used them a few times now. The real ones are actually from a company called CB2, and they come in at a price point that is about double of the ones that I found on Wayfair. I have the CB2 ones at home. They're pretty good, but these for half the price are also a little bit smaller. So in a space where you have a lower ceiling, it just seems to make a lot of sense in a matte black finish. And honestly, when it comes to decor, I really don't know what I'm doing. We just put like whatever random stuff that we see on Uncrate, this like Alpine cooking book with some speakers, headphones, and all that. And this is actually a champagne bottle popper, whatever it is. It wasn't as expensive as I thought, and so I figured it takes up a spot. This clock also works very well, but we don't have a battery in there because it does get pretty loud during filming. So yeah, this is like our little display station. I know it's maybe not the best use of space. You could throw a dining table here if you're living here, but for an office use and for the use of filming this way and all that, I feel like it is a really good display area. And if you guys have any opinions as to what we should do in this area, whether it's putting the Formula One sim, make sure you let me know. So one of the most important things about having a new office is to try to keep it as clean as possible. There's a lot of foot traffic. We're doing a lot of different filming and set movement and all that. So you do want to keep it nice and maintenance. And the Dyson V15 Detect vacuum is one that is super cool, has a lot of new features. And as someone who has used a lineup since the V8 through to the V10 and V11 and everything, and has really enjoyed the Dyson product, I can say that it does make the cleaning experience a lot more fun. So the big feature in this year's V15 Detect is that it actually has a laser that is green, and it precisely is able to point out areas where there's dust particles that you might have missed. So once you have it triggered on, it is actually built into the brush head, and it will highlight areas where you may have missed a spot or there's like a cluster of dust to ensure that you really do clean the place properly. And if you're OCD, then this will definitely help you make sure everything is perfect. There's actually acoustic dust sensing, which is able to determine the size of the particles and adjust the amount of suction needed accordingly. So it's not only able to detect when you go on like carpet and stuff, but if you're like in an area where there's like larger pieces, it will increase and adjust that suction, and will also show the data all on the screen right here. The V11 vacuum last year was one that was able to display some of the information of the different modes and everything, as well as your battery life, but this year they've taken it a step further. And I really think the laser technology is really innovative and one that I just didn't expect, and is super cool. And I want to give a huge thanks to Dyson for sponsoring the channel this year. If you guys want to learn more about their products, I'm going to drop a link to everything down below. The runtime is about an hour, so for a cordless vacuum, that is really good because it is portable, relatively light, and I'm able to clean the entire office no problem on just one charge. And there is 3 different modes, including an eco, a standard, and a boost mode, depending on the power you need. They also include one brush head that is also anti-tangle, which is very good. So especially with these polished concrete floors, even though they look really good, the biggest thing that I've noticed on both the floors and also the black stairs, which may have been a mistake, is that there is a ton of dust, and especially on the concrete, it is often very invisible. It just all blends in, and so being able to have the laser to show us the areas that we might have missed during cleaning is very nice. Another tech product that is very crucial in this office space is a Dyson Hot Plus Cold Purifier formaldehyde. And that is because this place doesn't actually have air conditioning. There is a heating thing, but the air conditioning quote was a lot of money. So for now, I decided not to do it. But this right here, especially in the hot summer, is a huge difference. And as it gets very cold, you can also adjust it to provide heat. From the purifier side, it is also able to capture 99.97% of particles as small as 0.3 microns. The new formaldehyde model actually comes in a white and gold finish, and I think it matches and blends in very, very well, as you can see. You're able to control everything from the included remote that is able to attach on the top as a magnet, so hopefully you don't lose it. And you can set it into the automatic mode, the hot, cold, set the fan levels, have it rotate as well. And you can also control everything from the Dyson Link app on your smartphone. The formaldehyde sensor is something that is new for this year and is a type of gas that is often found in some home products as well as construction material. And it is a harmful gas that is a new addition that this is able to capture. As I said, the Purifier Hot Plus Cool is something that I've used for many years now, and whenever like my heating or air conditioning system broke down in my condo, I was able to really rely on this, and it is able to fill a good amount of space. So if you guys are interested in checking out any of the Dyson products, I'm gonna drop a link down below, and a huge thanks to them once again for sponsoring this video and the channel. So now let's head upstairs to the second level where I have the desk setups in the office and where the bedroom would usually be. And as I mentioned in the previous videos, the stairs and the railings were all replaced. They were pretty old, and the ones before were like blue glass, and the wood on the steps were all like kind of bent and had some cracks in them. So did it in black, and so let's just take you guys up here. And I decided to go with carpet tile because of durability. We're gonna be walking around a lot. All of the stuff's gonna be moved around. So instead of doing like hardwood floor, I feel like carpet tile is good both for acoustics and also for durability right now. So when it comes to lights, I've got another one of the Buster and Punch caged ones right here. And this is probably one of my favorite lights of all time because it has a mixture of marble as well as a bold black look, a cage to it, and also a knurled finish right below the bulb. And the bulb itself actually looks like it is a vintage one, but it is actually LED. So yeah, I have one right here, one over there, and also one as we reach the top of the stair. And at night, it is just like a nice accent light. If there's one thing that I wish that I may have done is LED lights along the steps, but cost, it may not have been worth it when we have these lights right here. The posters are from the Automobilist. I have these all around the place, whether it is above the whiskey cabinet or down the hallway. It's racing posters, whether it's Formula 1, 24 Hours Le Mans. They've got like a whole bunch of stuff. You can kind of pick the collections, but I think it's just a good way to add color to the space. So the next step is we're gonna head over to take a look at the desk setups and the storage solutions up in the loft. So now we are upstairs in what is supposed to be the bedroom, and if it was actually a bedroom, obviously the bed would go right here. You could probably fit a king size, a nightstand on each side, a big TV, and a huge dresser, and honestly it is a pretty large bedroom setup because I was obviously using this as an office. The first thing that I saw when I came in is how we can just open it up, make it a nice square space up here, and if you compare it to the office that I've been using for the past couple years in my condo, it is actually pretty much the same size. So in terms of configuration here, we have 4 desks, of course, and these are all from Ergonoffice. It is the Sway one in a real walnut finish, and the size of them is 24 by 48, which I think is a good minimum size for anyone who's planning to use like their laptop or their iMac. And the finish of the wood looks amazing. I do have some protecting leather on top of it from IKEA, but if you guys want $50 off the desk, I have the link down below. But in general, we have these desks in like a 2-in-2 configuration. And in the future, if we want to, we could also put them up against the wall and create one longer side. But right now, everybody has their own exact same station with a neat cabinet as well, which has like some space for filing and storage. And then you have like speakers and wireless chargers on the side, or your laptop charging when you're not using it. These desks are all sit stand, which I think is really popular right now, especially with the work from home period with like Zoom calls. And personally, I spend most of my time up here. And what I was most excited for in a loft office setup is to have a separation between where we produce our videos and where all the camera gear is, and where we do the administrative work and editing and emails and all that stuff. So as you can probably tell, there isn't like too much stuff up here. We try to keep it all downstairs, aside from the equipment setup station, which is just like a 500-pound cabinet that I bought from Home Depot. And it has like all the charging actually inside. We have like all of the camera batteries and stuff. There's also some storage for the equipment, which is all nicely organized sometimes whenever Chris is here. The chargers and everything. So spare parts for the computer, your headphones. There's also like a whole bunch of tools to put together all the cameras and try to fix things, and all the spare cables, clean the lenses. So this has actually just been like one of the most amazing pickups for this office, because at the price of what it was just able to store everything that we needed in a nice workbench setup. And this is actually a neon light that I had from my podcast that we never used. So I figured this is the perfect location. And we also have this on a budget Miros timer that was like $5. And each day it turns on at exactly 9:30 in the morning when we start working. But I'm usually late, so I don't see it turn on. But other than that, we also had our woodworker who did all of the like millwork on the walls and the cabinets in the den to build a little unit right here to store the router. And I know a lot of people are gonna say the router is probably like gonna not work as well because it's next to all this metal and there's like concrete and all that stuff, but for the size of the space being about 1,050 square feet or so, give or take, this router is a Wi-Fi 6.1. It has extreme range. It is an open loft, so anywhere in the place, I'm able to get great connection, no problem. And everything is just also hardwired through Ethernet to each of the computer stations, so that is always very handy. Down there, just got a bit of water, but yeah, this is a nice spot to just have all the equipment. I did think about doing some kitchen cabinets, but if I ever move or sell the place and want to transform it back into a bedroom for the next owner, then literally just take this with me and you can set it up, no problem, and maybe change the floors if that is something that they'd want to do. This was actually my original desk, but because everyone's like going back and forth, grabbing some of the tools and pieces and all that, I decided that it was probably better to hide in that corner. So yeah, this is actually my own desk, and all these desks have the Herman Miller Aeron chair, which is super comfortable. It's the one that I have at home and I've been used to over the past few years. But each day I just like do some of my video editing right here. We have the DaVinci panel from Blackmagic, which is super handy and just speeds up the editing process of using like the wheels and the scopes. So I do a lot of the color grading here. We export the footage and then edit it all in Final Cut. And I actually still have my desk set up back at home, so if I'm doing like a second shift of video editing, then I can just take the SSDs and finish off the project at home. But yeah, at its core, the desks are just the ones from Ergonoffice, the sway in the walnut finish with the black legs and the neat cabinet paired with the Herman Miller Aeron chair. This is the new model that came out a couple years ago with the chrome legs. And on the wall here, we have some stuff from Uncrate. These are very well printed. The quality is great, but at the price that they were at, I was expecting quite a bit. And I would say some of them do look really good. So we may look like a geology studio up here, but I know nothing about this stuff. But overall, you can probably see like this space is not exactly the widest. It is like 11 by 11 feet. So aside from the 4 desks, that pretty much takes up all the room, but I think it's the perfect size for what we need right now. And I kind of take up 2 sides. I've got my laptop for like emails and all that stuff. And yeah, so my stuff's kind of like scattered between there. So over here we have the bathroom. And if you guys remember from like the super early videos, if you've seen it, the bathroom actually didn't have a door and the wall actually only went up to here. So other than that, it was just a whole bunch of plastic, plexiglass or whatever panel it was. And I'm standing in where the shower used to be. So it's all been taken out and the space has been freed up. It's just a nice square, and it's nice to have a French door because I don't actually use this bathroom, and it's just, I got my Formula One simulator, a toaster in there, a printer, sound panels, a gaming PC, and just all of the stuff that we don't want to have in sight. We've used this bathroom as a storage room, but if you empty it out, it is a pretty nice bathroom with a large shower, but because there's 4 desks up here, nobody really uses the toilet because it's a bit close in proximity. So we just have this barn door that slides into place and hides the mess, and I just go back to my little office that I spend most of the day in right here. But that is kind of it for the upstairs area. And what I love the most about lofts is that you can just look over the balcony, and because of the open concept railings, it has just a great view of the entire space and the living room, the kitchen, and all the decor. So yeah, I could say that I really wanted a loft when I was looking for places, and the choices were very limited. But when this one came up, it needed a ton of work. And after it's all been said and done, I can say I'm really happy with the choice that we made. So here we are in the den space, which is just in the back of the space. And it isn't exactly a bedroom, but I believe the previous owner had a TV on the wall. You could possibly fit a bed here, maybe a home office, but I was also trying to decide what to do with it. I was gonna use it as storage, but then I figured maybe it is a good place to have a fixed set, because with the amount of lighting that is coming in the front area, it can often be a little bit hard to control. So by having a set back here that always works is super handy. So yeah, this is our main filming set. And the reason why I have this computer here is actually because I almost thought about putting the Formula One simulator over here, which is why we have the steering wheel. But overall, it's pretty simple. There's some metal beams, which makes it very easy to connect some lights to it. And I also had some custom cabinets built in that have the shelving, which has a bit of a contrasting look between the oak and the white material. I originally thought about going with the black, but the rest of the place is like a black and walnut look. So I figured that this would be a good color choice to go with. And overall, with a few decorations, I think it looks pretty awesome. And what was originally a curved spot with a weird bulkhead is a symmetrical cabinet system, and you have kind of the sloping wall, which adds a bit of dimension with the paintings, which is nice. We still got to add some sound panels to acoustically treat it, but yeah, this is where some of the videos are being filmed for news videos, unboxings, and all that. For now, this is our fixed set studio. If I do decide to sell in the future though, I feel like this could make a really good home office. Just have the desk right here, and you have some display items and decor, as well as a bit of additional storage back there. So yeah, this is the den. I believe it's the only unit in the building that has a den. So I think it's a great space to have, and without it, I probably wouldn't have gone with this space because the rest of it is pretty much filled with stuff and has a use already. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. It is a little bit compact, but we do roll around a Husky cabinet that has all the accessories, extension cords, monitors for the camera to connect to, but yeah, that's a den. So the bathroom is kept relatively simple. The layout has stayed the same, but we took out the cabinet that was in there before. It had like a weird sink layout and obviously didn't look very good, and went with the same walnut finish that is the accent color in the kitchen. The countertop, as you can probably tell, is the same one as the backsplash from Cosentino, and I went with some black hardware, just a few little pieces here, a mirror, and a light from West Elm. So overall, this bathroom is the one that's being used the most. The one upstairs is more so storage because of all the desks that are in close proximity. And I also had the shower retiled and new glass doors because it was some like foggy plastic before. But as you can probably tell, it's just a spot that we put some of the camera equipment and C-stands, tripods, and stuff that we just can't fit in the hallway closet. Over here, this is actually where the washer and dryer used to be, but being an office, it isn't really used. So I just had a few shelves made, on everything unplugged, and instead we have a storage unit for just like products, inventory, travel cases, and also a spot to charge the vacuum. And to hide everything, we just have a bit of a curtain that I grabbed on Amazon. So it actually all works pretty well in terms of storage. We have some stuff scattered upstairs, also one right here, and also the hallway in the closet. And from a drawer standpoint, just a bunch of supplies. And I also have a Dyson hairdryer down there and the same hair product that I have at home. So if we're about to film, I can just like quickly do a bit of a fix and we're all good to go. So yeah, that is the downstairs bathroom. But I think it's nice that this place has two full bathrooms that have their own shower and everything, because it is technically just a 1-bedroom place. So yeah, this is the one that is mainly used. So in the hallway leading into the space, there's actually a coat closet, which is super handy because with all the camera equipment, a lot of it just doesn't really look that pretty. So it all just goes into the closet. And this is where we have our large collection of all of the NAND lights just laid out here in their cases, ready to go, as well as LED stands and also soft boxes that are stored up there. In this closet, I actually have a lock system. This one's from Schlage, and it is the Encode. And from the setup to the general usage, it has just been really nice to use. All I had to do was obviously install it, connect it to the Wi-Fi, set a pin for it, and also assign codes based on whose code it was. And you can set like different hours of who can access it. And from my phone app as the master user, it shows exactly who has gone in and out of both the closet and also the place in general. So I have two different sets of codes for that, and it's just like very seamless, doesn't stick out at all. And in a hallway, I just didn't want to have like large door handles or anything. So this has so far been really nice, and it's just like a magnet on the top to keep the door shut. But yeah, this is the Encode system, and if you guys want to check this out, it's also going to be linked down below. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And it's just crazy that over the years, you guys have seen my videos from my parents' house over to the basement that I rented from them, to the condo and working out of the master bedroom, to now where we have a dedicated space where we're producing videos on an everyday basis. I know it's pretty long, but I really wanted to go into details. We've done all of the different episodes in the series and also specific ones of each section. But you guys from the polls seem to enjoy the home videos the most. So I'll see you guys in the next video.